Manny Pacquiao, you're not on my level. Manny Pacquiao, you will never be on my level. Period. Simple and plain. Accept the loss and say, you know what, Mayweather, you know what? You was the better fighter. It's okay to be number two. It's okay to be right behind me. It's okay.
Prepare yourself for the most explosive revelation in boxing history as Floyd Mayweather drops bombshells that could change everything you thought you knew about the legendary rivalry with Manny Pacquiao. In less than 100 words, here is the sensational intro. Floyd Mayweather, the undefeated maestro of the ring, has finally broken his silence. After years of intense battles, whispered rumors and hidden truths, he has revealed a secret that will shake the very foundations of boxing. In a rare, unfiltered moment, Floyd exposes details about Manny Pacquiao's conduct that have long been cloaked in mystery. His words, raw and candid, promise to ignite conversations and controversies that redefine a storied rivalry and the legacy of two of the sport's most iconic figures. For decades, the narrative of boxing has been defined by epic battles, legendary rivalries, and a mix of raw talent and dramatic confrontations that transcend the sport itself. Few rivalries capture the imagination of fans like that between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. Both fighters have etched their names into history not only with their dazzling prowess inside the ring, but also with the intense media scrutiny and the whirlwind of rumors that swirled around every punch thrown and every conversation exchanged. Over the years, every jab and hook carried more than just physical force. It was laden with personal pride, strategic brilliance, and a complicated history that has always kept fans guessing. Now, after years of silence and subtle hints, Floyd Mayweather has come forward with revelations that cast a new light on everything that has been whispered about his long-standing rival. The story begins long before the fateful night when the two giants squared off under the bright lights of a packed stadium. Boxing, in many ways, has always been a theater of both physical artistry and psychological warfare, where every personal nuance and every backstage conversation can hold the key to understanding the outcome of future battles. Floyd Mayweather, known for his impeccable defensive skills and unmatched ring intelligence, always maintained an aura of control and confidence. Yet behind the calm exterior lay a mind that was constantly analyzing his opponent, deciphering patterns, and sometimes uncovering truths that few others could see. In countless interviews and post-fight press conferences, Floyd carefully navigated questions about his training, his strategies, and even his personal opinions on the sport. But there was one topic he had always skirted around: his thoughts on Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao, a fighter whose name has become synonymous with explosive speed, relentless power, and a humble personal story that inspired millions, has long been a subject of fascination and debate. While many revered him for his accomplishments both in the ring and beyond, whispers in the corridors of boxing gyms, training camps, and even within the press rooms hinted at controversies that were never fully brought to light. Over the years, subtle gestures, ambiguous comments, and moments of apparent tension during joint interviews began to create an aura of mystery around the true nature of their relationship. It was as if, behind every respectful nod and every courteous smile, there simmered an unspoken narrative that only a few could decipher. This tension reached a boiling point in recent months, as Floyd Mayweather, always one to speak with a quiet intensity when the moment was right, decided to break the silence. In a surprising and unpremeditated series of interviews that have taken the boxing world by storm, Floyd began to shed light on personal observations and insider details that he had guarded so closely. "I always knew there were things off the record, things people wouldn't dare to talk about in public," Floyd remarked in an exclusive interview. His tone was serious, the kind that carried the weight of years spent pondering over memories of training camps, media manipulation, and the raw, unedited truth of life outside the ring. What Floyd revealed next sent shockwaves through the industry. According to his account over the course of their careers, there were instances where Manny's actions in and out of the ring did not always align with the valorous image that the public had come to adore. Floyd's words, delivered with uncharacteristic candor, painted a picture of a rivalry that was not just defined by physical combat, but by a series of decisions and behaviors that he found deeply troubling. In one heated moment during the interview, Floyd's frustration burst forth in a way that few expected. "I couldn't believe it," he said, his voice tinged with an intensity that had rarely been heard from the champion. "When you're out there giving everything you have, you expect respect, honor, and honesty from your opponent. There were times when I felt betrayed, times when I believed that the rules of fair competition were being ignored. For many listeners, those words carried an unmistakable edge. In an unforgettable exchange, Floyd's raw sentiment resonated so strongly with his emotions that he is reported to have uttered a now infamous phrase that has since dominated headlines. A phrase that encapsulated his disbelief and deep-seated frustration. In the midst of the revelations, Floyd emphasized that his intention was not to tarnish anyone's reputation or to fan the flames of disrespect. Instead, he sought to provide transparency about situations he had witnessed firsthand. "I've always been about the truth, about what actually goes on behind closed doors," he continued. His measured yet passionate delivery left listeners with a profound sense of both admiration for his honesty and a stirred curiosity about the true nature of the incidents he alluded to. Floyd's comments resonated with fans, who had long harbored suspicions about the discrepancies between what was public.
Best boxer in the world.
Brilliant, clean, hard shots for Pretty Boy Floyd.
They can't stop me. These fighters can't fuck with me, man. They can't fuck with me. I'm the best. He should just be appreciative that I'm giving him an opportunity.
Publicly portrayed, and what might have happened behind the scenes. For many, the most explosive part of Floyd's disclosure came when he detailed an encounter that had become almost legendary in certain circles, a moment that many felt encapsulated the controversial undercurrent of their rivalry. Floyd recalled with a mix of regret and righteous anger, a scenario that had unfolded during a joint training session months before one of their biggest fights. "There was this one moment," he recalled, "when I saw something that I can't ignore. I saw actions that really went against the code we all live by in this sport." The precise details of that moment have been shrouded in mystery, but Floyd was unequivocal about the impact it had on him. In his eyes, it was a turning point, one that made him question the authenticity of the competitive spirit that he had fought so hard to embody throughout his career. The fallout from Floyd's revelations has been nothing short of seismic. Across the board, fans, commentators, and even former competitors have been left reeling as the details he shared began to circulate through social media, sports talk shows, and countless online forums. The boxing community, which has always been known for its passion and unapologetic loyalty to its heroes, found itself divided. Some defended Manny with fervent loyalty, arguing that moments of weakness can occur in every human being and that the sport should celebrate redemption rather than rehash past mistakes. Others, however, felt that Floyd's words pointed to a deeper issue, one that raised questions about the true nature of rivalry, sportsmanship, and the fine line that sometimes divides competitive strategy from unethical behavior. In the days that followed the interview, headlines and discussion threads erupted with varying interpretations of Floyd's comments. Analysts began combing through archival footage and old interviews, searching for clues that might corroborate what had been revealed. The aim was not to attack, but to piece together a clearer picture of the events Floyd had alluded to. Among the murmurs in the community was a discussion of the high-pressure environment in which elite athletes operate, training camps and pre-fight preparations. It was argued can sometimes bring out the worst in even the most disciplined individuals. In such a crucible, every action is magnified, and every lapse in judgment can have lasting repercussions. Floyd's decision to speak out was seen by some as a call for greater accountability in a sport that had long been perceived as a realm where personal rivalries and past grudges often collided with the pursuit of glory. Throughout his career, Floyd had always been a model of discipline and determination, traits that earned him his unblemished record. Yet these very qualities made his revelations all the more striking. Coming from a fighter who had endured countless challenges and emerged victorious every time, the idea that he would harbor feelings of disillusionment was something that no one had ever anticipated. When you dedicate your life to perfection, you learn to expect perfection from others, Floyd explained in a later interview. There comes a time when you see beyond the hype and the show, and you start to demand integrity in every aspect of the sport. It was this quest for integrity that spurred his decision to step forward, even at the risk of sparking controversy and ruffling feathers in an already charged environment. The narrative of this rivalry has always been layered, marked by moments of brilliance and instances that have bordered on the enigmatic. Floyd's revelations added a new chapter to that story, one that cast long shadows over the glitz and glamour of international boxing. For years, fans had been enamored with the drama of the ring, the physicality, the strategy, the moments of triumph that defined legendary bouts. But now, the spotlight had shifted to a different arena, the realm of personal ethics, unspoken codes, and the sometimes harsh realities of life as an elite athlete. The conversation was no longer just about punches thrown or titles won. It was about the spirit of competition itself and the values that should underpin it. In reflecting on the incident he described, Floyd was at pains to emphasize that his intent was not to engage in a personal vendetta. "I'm not here to ruin anyone's name," he stated solemnly. "I'm here to tell the truth about what I experienced. I believe that transparency is essential if we're going to preserve the integrity of this sport." These words underscored a fundamental truth about boxing: its power to evoke deep emotions, to command respect, and to serve as a mirror reflecting the very best and worst of human behavior. In his eyes, the duty to be honest was paramount, even if it meant stirring controversy or challenging the long-held narratives that had defined an era. Floyd's revelations have also opened up a broader dialogue about the intersection of celebrity, media, and the inherent pressures of living in the public eye. In today's world, where every tweet, every interview, and every behind-the-scenes moment is scrutinized by millions, the margin for error is incredibly thin. Athletes like Floyd and Manny are not just competitors. They are public figures whose every move can influence how a sport is perceived on a global scale. When Floyd spoke of his frustrations, he did so with the understanding that his words carried immense weight. "This isn't about me versus him," he explained in a reflective tone. "It's about the ideals we as athletes, as human beings, should aspire to in a sport that has meant so much to so many people." His remarks resonated deeply with those who believed that the legacy of boxing should be built on foundations of honesty, respect, and mutual admiration, even amidst the fierce competitiveness that defines the sport. The shockwaves from his interview began to ripple outward, affecting not only the personal dynamics between the two fighters.
He think about hit me with his power, his hard power, but we already know his ass already hit the deck. Vernon Forrest fucked you up. Winky Wright fucked you up. Miguel Cotto fucked you up. Money Mayweather,
but also the business and promotional aspects of boxing, sponsorship, deals, upcoming bout negotiations, and even the way in which future matchups are discussed in media forums were all suddenly subject to reinterpretation in light of the new revelations. Promoters and analysts, always quick to seize on any hint of controversy to drive viewership, began speculating about how these revelations might affect the narrative of the sport in the years to come. Could this be the turning point that forces a reevaluation of how rivalries are managed and presented to the public? Many believe so. The idea that a legend like Floyd Mayweather would choose this moment to reveal long-hidden truths suggested that the world of boxing was on the cusp of a transformative shift, a shift that might lead to stricter ethical guidelines, and a renewed commitment to the values that once defined the sport. In time, the dialogue sparked by Floyd's candid admissions extended into discussions among former fighters, trainers, and sports historians. Veterans of the sport recalled earlier eras when rivalries were settled in the ring and personal honor was inviolable. They reminisced about a time when every fighter's word was his bond, and any deviation from that code was met with severe disapproval, both by peers and by the public. There was always an unspoken rule about fairness and respect, one former champion commented during a panel discussion. If you strayed from that, no matter how successful you became, your legacy would suffer. Floyd's words, delivered with the clarity of someone who had seen it all and then decided to cast aside the veneer of perfection, underscored this sentiment with a resonant force that echoed through the corridors of boxing history. For Manny Pacquiao, the revelation has been met with a mixture of surprise, introspection, and cautious public statements. While he has yet to offer a detailed response to Floyd's claims in a formal interview of his own, insiders close to him indicate that the sports icon is reviewing the allegations carefully and has expressed a willingness to address any misunderstandings when the time is right. His camp has maintained that every fighter has their own perspective on the rigors of the sport, and that any decisions made in the heat of competition are born out of the passion and intensity that drives these athletes. Many fans remain hopeful that, despite the explosive nature of Floyd's declarations, the ultimate outcome will be a reaffirmation of mutual respect between these towering figures in boxing, an acknowledgement that, despite the controversies, both men share a deep love for the sport and a commitment to its future. Floyd's comments have resonated widely, not only because of the personal nature of the revelations, but also because they serve as a catalyst for a broader conversation about accountability and integrity. In an era when social media platforms allow every word to be instantly amplified, his remarks have sparked heated debates among fans and experts alike. Some argue that the competitive spirit of boxing demands such frank admissions, that only by confronting uncomfortable truths can the sport evolve and endure the scrutiny of modern audiences. Others caution that personal attacks and sensational rhetoric could overshadow the rich, multifaceted legacy of the sport itself. Amid these debates, Floyd has maintained a calm insistence on the necessity of truthfulness, insisting that only by acknowledging the full spectrum of human behavior, both light and dark, can the sport maintain its authenticity. Beyond the immediate impact on boxing, Floyd Mayweather's revelations have also reignited interest in the role of ethics in sports in a much broader sense. Across the world, fans of all sports are watching closely as questions arise about what it means to compete honorably and how much scrutiny athletes should face for their off-ring actions. The discourse has moved beyond the confines of boxing gyms and sports arenas, extending into academic debates, media analyses, and even discussions in boardrooms where the future of sports marketing is being shaped. Floyd's emphasis on transparency and integrity has struck a chord with many, reminding them that in any competitive arena, the pursuit of greatness should never come at the expense of the values that define fair play. His words have become not just a reflection of his personal journey, but an invitation for everyone involved in the world of sports to reconsider the true essence of competition. In MANNY, his follow-up interviews, Floyd further elaborated on his experiences, drawing on decades of first-hand observation and insider knowledge of the boxing world. He recounted moments when the pressures of the sport led to decisions that may have blurred the lines between strategy and personal conduct. There are instances, he explained, when the adrenaline, the drive to win, and the sheer intensity of the fight push you to act in ways that might not always be seen in the best light, but that doesn't absolve you from the responsibility to uphold the spirit of the sport. This was a sentiment that resonated deeply with those who had long admired his career, a career built not just on victories, but on a commitment to excellence and an unyielding sense of personal responsibility. For Floyd, the truth was a tool, means of clearing away the layers of misunderstanding that had accumulated over years of rivalry and intense competition. Not all responses to the revelations have been uniformly supportive. Faction of traditionalists within the boxing community expressed concern that the delicate balance of admiration, respect, and competitive rivalry might be irreparably disrupted by such explosive disclosures. These individuals pointed to the risks inherent in airing personal grievances in public and warned that the fallout could extend far beyond personal reputations. Potentially.
Shane Mosley said Floyd Mayweather fights for money. You fucking dummy. I'm a prize fighter. That's what I'm supposed to fight for. A prize.
Affecting future bouts, sponsorship deals, and even the ethical standards upheld by governing bodies of the sport. Nonetheless, there is also a powerful counter-narrative, a belief that this very exposure of truth, however uncomfortable, is necessary for the evolution of boxing. It is a call to modernize the sport's code of conduct and to embrace a future where the integrity of every fighter, regardless of their fame or fortune, is held to the highest standards. The truth, as Floyd has long maintained, is never black and white. In the often murky realm of competitive sports, where passion and ambition collide with the realities of human fallibility, it is the willingness to confront difficult truths that ultimately defines greatness. Floyd's decision to share his perspective is being seen by many as an act of courage, a step toward dispelling the myths that have clouded the legacy of one of boxing's most storied rivalries. His words have cast a spotlight on the hidden complexities of the sport, inviting debate and prompting a reassessment of long-held assumptions about what it means to fight with honor, both inside and outside the ring. Throughout his career, Floyd has earned accolades not only for his technical brilliance but also for his unrelenting drive to succeed at any cost. Yet it is precisely this drive that has made him such a polarizing figure, one who commands respect even as he challenges conventional wisdom about fairness and conduct in the sport. His candid revelations about moments of disillusionment and ethical quandaries have humanized a figure often seen as untouchable, offering fans and critics alike a rare glimpse behind the curtain of a life dedicated to perfection. "I've always seen boxing as more than just a game," Floyd remarked in one of his most memorable interviews. "It's a reflection of life itself, a journey fraught with challenges, risks, and the occasional misstep. But it's in those moments that we truly discover who we are." Such reflections underscored the gravity of his experiences and lent an air of solemnity to his recent admissions. The controversy, with its twists and turns, has also led to extensive introspection among sports writers and analysts. The narrative, that once seemed clear-cut, a battle between two titans in a sport defined by honor and respect, is now being re-examined through a lens that takes into account the unscripted, spontaneous moments that have punctuated their careers. Floyd's disclosures have injected a new dynamism into that narrative, prompting a deeper consideration of the human elements that drive competition. Can a sport be truly celebrated if its heroes do not reflect on their shortcomings and the ethical dilemmas that occasionally arise? For Floyd, the answer is clear. Only through honest reflection and accountability can the legacy of boxing be preserved for future generations. This renewed focus on truth and transparency has, in turn, spurred conversations about the future of boxing training, the role of mentorship, and how emerging athletes might navigate a landscape that is increasingly defined by both performance and personal integrity. Veteran trainers and up-and-coming fighters have taken to social media and interviews to voice their support for a more honest and ethical approach to the sport. They argue that acknowledging mistakes and learning from them is as crucial as celebrating victories. In this evolving dialogue, Floyd Mayweather's revelations serve not only as a personal declaration, but also as a broader call to action for the entire community, a call to elevate the standards of conduct and honor that have made boxing one of the most revered sports in the world. As the boxing world continues to grapple with the implications of these startling disclosures, there is also an undercurrent of hope, a hope that the sport, which has always thrived on competition and the relentless pursuit of greatness, can emerge even stronger from this period of introspection. Floyd's willingness to reveal the truth, regardless of the personal and professional risks involved, is being hailed by many as a turning point. It is a reminder that the true measure of a champion is not simply the number of victories recorded, but the integrity with which one conducts oneself both in triumph and in adversity. Amidst the flurry of interviews, debates, and media analyses, one can still hear Floyd's steady, unwavering voice affirming his commitment to honesty and excellence. "I'm not here to create chaos," he has repeatedly emphasized. "I'm here to ensure that what we do in this sport is grounded in truth, and that every fighter can look back on their career with a sense of pride, knowing they gave it their all." His words, delivered in the unmistakable cadence of someone who has achieved unparalleled success, have struck a chord with a generation of fans who seek authenticity amidst the glare of celebrity. The appeal of his revelation lies not in its capacity to tarnish reputations, but rather in its potential to inspire a re-examination of the principles that have long defined the sport. Looking ahead, the impact of Floyd Mayweather's revelations is likely to be felt for many years to come. In arenas across the globe, where fans continue to debate the merits of each legendary bout and analyze every piece of available evidence, his words have added a new dimension to the ongoing conversation. They serve as a testament to the evolving nature of boxing, a sport that, while steeped in tradition, must also adapt to the realities of a modern, interconnected world where every action is subject to scrutiny. In this brave new chapter, Floyd's revelations stand as a stark reminder that no legacy is immune to the complexities of human nature, and that true greatness lies in the courage to confront even the most uncomfortable truths. In the days and weeks that follow, additional interviews and reports are expected to shed further light on the events.
You are. The fuck you mean I want to be like you? How I want to be like you? Come on, man. I'm the face of boxing. Man, you know how these bitches is in the sport. Total disrespect. Kid has no class, no style at all.
Floyd described. Fans around the world are eagerly awaiting more details that might provide context or clarity to the controversial moments that have now captured headlines. As the story continues to unfold, it is evident that the conversation will not be confined merely to the realm of boxing, but will extend into broader cultural discussions about ethics, accountability, and the price of excellence in a high-stakes environment. In the end, whether one agrees with all of Floyd's sentiments or not, his willingness to speak out marks a watershed moment, a moment that challenges everyone involved in the sport to remember that behind the glitz and glamour of championship bouts lies a world that is as raw, unpredictable, and human as life itself. Psycher, you reflect on this dramatic turn of events. It becomes clear that the rivalry between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao has evolved into something far more intricate than anyone could have anticipated. It is not simply a tale of two fighters clashing in the ring. It is a multifaceted saga that explores the intersection of ambition, ethical dilemmas, and the relentless drive to be the best. Floyd's recent revelations have opened up new avenues for understanding the pressures and challenges that define the lives of elite athletes. His account, candid and unfiltered, gives us a window into the behind-the-scenes realities that have long remained hidden from public view. For many, it is a call to appreciate the complexities inherent in the world of professional sports, a reminder that every legend is, first and foremost, human. The legacy of this rivalry, now forever altered by Floyd's disclosures, promises to fuel debates among fans, analysts, and historians for years to come. What will be remembered is not just the glittering victories or the dramatic knockouts, but also the untold stories, the whispered conversations, and the moments when champions were forced to confront their own imperfections. Floyd Mayweather's emergence as an unvarnished truth-teller has added a new chapter to that legacy, a chapter that acknowledges the pitfalls of blind hero worship and the value of introspection. In doing so, he has invited us all to reconsider what it means to be a champion in the truest sense, a champion who is willing to own not only the moments of glory, but also the complexities of a life devoted to the pursuit of greatness. The revelations have undoubtedly stirred up controversy and sparked fervent debate, yet amid the clamor, there is also a sense of anticipation for what the future may hold. The boxing landscape is poised for transformation as a new generation of fighters looks to build on the foundations laid by these titans. With renewed focus on honesty and transparency, the sport may well enter an era where the values of fair play, respect, and mutual accountability are given center stage. This reinvigorated dialogue, fueled in part by Floyd's courage to voice the unvarnished truth, is a harbinger of positive change, a change that could ultimately elevate the sport to new heights of excellence and integrity. In the grand scheme of things, the story of Floyd Mayweather's revelations about Manny Pacquiao is much more than a sensational headline or a fleeting moment in sports history. It is a mirror reflecting the evolving priorities of an industry that has always been at the crossroads of tradition and innovation. The passion of the fans, the intensity of the competition, and the personal sacrifices made by these fighters are all integral parts of a much larger narrative, one that speaks to our collective desire for excellence, fairness, and the courage to confront our own failings. Floyd's words remind us that while the arena of boxing may be one of physical combat, it is also a domain where the battles for truth, honor, and legacy are fought day after day, both in and out of the ring. As the days pass and the full impact of these revelations continues to unfold, one message remains unequivocal. The world of boxing, like all great sports, thrives on passion, integrity, and the unwavering pursuit of truth. Floyd Mayweather's decision to break his silence and offer a glimpse into the unseen world of rivalries and personal ethics has, without a doubt, set the stage for a new era of introspection and reform. Whether you are a devoted fan or a casual observer, this is a moment that demands attention, a moment that challenges us to look beyond the surface and appreciate the intricate tapestry of ambition, struggle, and honesty that defines the greatest sporting legends of our time. In closing, the bombshell dropped by Floyd Mayweather has irrevocably changed the conversation about one of boxing's most enduring rivalries. His candid disclosures, delivered with the unmistakable poise of a fighter who has seen it all, have opened up avenues for dialogue that stretch far beyond the confines of the ring. The truth, as Floyd has made abundantly clear, is a powerful force, one that can liberate us from the shackles of preconceived notions and inspire a new era of ethical conduct in sports. This is not the end of the story by any means. It is only the beginning of a broader exploration into the values that define greatness, the responsibilities of those who dare to compete at the highest levels, and the importance of preserving the integrity of a sport that has touched the lives of millions. If you're as captivated by this dramatic and thought-provoking chapter in boxing history as I am, make sure you stay tuned for more updates and in-depth analysis on every new development. The world of boxing is changing, and the conversation about truth, honor, and rivalry is just getting started. Don't miss out on any of the latest news and exclusive insights. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and join the conversation as we delve deeper into the stories behind the headlines.